So you guys all understand where I'm coming from with this when I say I have certain things in life that just bring me real comfort. And some of those things involve just the sound of someone's voice. And today's video is actually a, fan soap type video for somebody who brings me a lot of comfort, just the sound of their voice and existing. And it's going to be a long one because I went overly complicated with this because that's what this particular person deserves. So I will tell you more about it in just a minute. But before I do, hello, I am Mrs. Soap and Clay. Let's make stuff. How's it going, Sudsers? Welcome back to the channel. You are at Soap and Clay, where we make all the soapy things, and you are here for day 335 of 365 days of soap. Think. And today, we are making a fan soap for a Twitch creator that I love oh so very much. And we are doing it bigly, because I sat thinking about this one for far too long. So this one actually took on a life of its own and got really overboard. But also, one of the reasons why it had to kind of be overboard is because this particular Twitch streamer, whose name is Charmelian, by the way, is a Sims creator primarily, and they do these over-the-top, extravagant Sims builds. It's amazing, and just cool story play inside of it, and like there's different character arcs, and it's wild, and I love it. And so I couldn't just, give her a bar of soap and say, hey, this is for you, Charm. I couldn't do that. So I took some pieces of everything that she is and that I love and put it all into one soap. And I did it in a very strange way. So we should get to the video and we can talk about that strange way and all of the things I did and maybe the mistakes I made, where we always do it, in the video. Okay, so we are starting out with soap dough and we are making a hamster. And there was a big thing because I actually got a few of Charm's mods on Twitch involved in this so I could, get the right information for the design and the pour that I wanted to do. And also one of those mods helped me, figure out and suss out the design and the scents in the first place. So that was awesome. But I ultimately decided on a lot of things, really, and it started with the hamster, and the mods had to figure out what color it was without tipping off Charm that I was making a soap for Charm that also had her hamster in it. And so, you know how I am with soap dough and making, things that are supposed to look like real things, specifically animals. I'm not great at it, just in case you haven't been around for that. So that's my attempt of a hamster, but it's going to be cool. It's all going to work out, I promise. It's going to end up looking cute because it's mostly not showing. And then I'm going to make a teacup and a tea plate out of soap, out of cold process soap. That's going to happen. And I am going to do that by pouring directly into the teacup for the tea part, the teacup part, and onto the plate, and then sandwiching it between another plate. And I was on a Discord call with I was on a Zoom with some of the Discord members while I was pouring this, and I was like, hey, do you think it's a good idea to pour into this really pretty teacup? And they all went, no, you should not do that. And then they went, maybe go ahead and line it with something. And then they went, no. And I did that thing anyway. So let's find out how bad of an idea that was together, really. Now for the plate, I am actually modeling the design of the teacup and the plate in the soap form off of the teacup and plate I just showed you. So like that, really. Now these teacups and plates were actually from Scout's birthday. We got these super duper fancy sets, and it was really beautiful because all 6 of the cups in each set were different. But if you put one onto the other, onto like a mismatched plate, it still totally worked. They were gorgeous. And I ended up with like 24 or 30 teacups that we had picked up for this because there were a lot of people that came to this thing. And so what I ended up doing, because what the hell am I going to do with that many teacups, right? So what I ended up doing is I sent the teacups home and the saucers with everyone that attended as part of their, gift bag for attending the party, which I thought was a great idea. But, we still had some left because we exist and we also consumed tea. So I'm using it to make a plate and a cup out of soap. And my idea with all this is to just go ahead and skewer it a little bit to kind of look like flowers and whatnot, right? And then when I sandwich this soap between that plate and another plate, the design will sort of smoosh out and it will look more delicate and pretty. This is my thinking. And I think it's sound thinking, right? It's totally, that's how that works. And I even did a thing. I didn't actually pour all the way to the edge so I could make sure that there was enough room to sandwich between and it wouldn't all go over the sides. This was well thought out, guys. Oh, also the scent for all of this is a delightful scent that is absolutely perfect for Charm because it is Earl Grey plus rose and jasmine, because she was talking about a tea that she was drinking that day, because she's always drinking a tea and she always tells us what kind of tea she's drinking. And she actually mentioned rose and jasmine, and I went perfect, and also Earl Grey because I love Earl Grey. And so that's the blend for this. So it smells like tea, but like really fun tea. And this stuff has set up a little bit, enough for me to pour some brown soap in the middle for the tea. You get it? It's all a thing. And yeah, this is not going to go in my oven. It's just going to sit out, and I'm probably going to then put it into the, freezer and hope that I can peel this soap. Well, peel the plate from the soap and then the soap from the plate for the plate version. You get it. And also get this out of the teacup. But we're still not done with the teacup itself because that hamster has to come into play somewhere, right? Yeah, so it's going to come into play, here, along with what she streams. Because I haven't even talked about Charmelian and why she's amazing. There's the hamster. Oh, it's cute. Charm is amazing because she's amazing, but she is a Twitch streamer and a TikTok streamer, actually, that does Sims. And I love the Sims, like so freaking much. I'm terrible at it, and I get bored really quickly and mostly just build a murder house, but I love the Sims. And look, the hamster is going to hold a plumb bob because, of course, the hamster should hold a Sims plumb bob. And we'll talk more about that plumb bob, in a minute. I just sent it to an ad, so now we're back. But anyway, yeah, Charm streams The Sims, and something about The Sims, Sims, is the plumb bob, the little status icon over their head about what color they're in, and it changes color based on their mood and what they need. And she always does a plumb bob check every day for all of us and says, how's your plumb bob? What color's your plumb bob? And people weigh in and say, green or yellow or red or orange or whatever. And the goal is obviously to always be green because that means you're happy. And so I put a green plumb bob in that thing because Sims. Also, I haven't talked about what happened with these plates. What happened with these plates was the design did not work at all, not even remotely. I pulled these two plates apart and it was just a big old mess of soap. And so I rolled it into a ball and I made soap dough out of it. Because you can make soap dough out of basically any recipe. And now I am taking some melt and pour, some glycerin soap that I have poured out on the counter there in a thin pattern, and randomly just smooshing it in to the plate itself to create a, flower looking design thing. Yeah. This was my pivot, really. So I don't know whether that smashing between two things would have worked and created a more delicate, cooler, flower looking pattern. Logically, that flows that it would have worked if I hadn't have used two plates, that the soap was never going to come off. And I froze those guys and I ran them under hot water and I gave them like 3 days with doing all of that, and they never did come out. It never happened. It was just a mess. But you know, hey, soap dough. And this is cute too. This is a really fun way of decorating this as well. So I don't hate this. And the cool thing about soap dough is as it gets dry or whatever, it firms up. So it'll be like a, you know, kiln fired plate. It will actually do that, except it's not shiny. And I didn't like that it wasn't shiny. And I especially didn't like it as I started putting the, you know, the melt and pour on it, because china is shiny and, you know, soap dough is not. And so as I was doing this, I had an idea, and I, you know, am going to do the idea, and I think it's going to be a good one. But, you know, for now, this is also a really fun way of designing a plate. It's cute, and just kind of everything randomly pushed into the soap dough while it's still soft. Totally works. And also it still smells like, you know, Earl Grey and rose and jasmine, because of course it does. Why would it not smell like that anymore just because I smooshed up some cold process and turned it into pliable soap dough? It wouldn't, is the answer. So there you go. But yes, Charm, Plum Bob, Sims, she's awesome. She does really incredible designs on her builds and stuff. And then she also does Sims like challenge builds where she does a build and then we have to turn it into something else. And I've tried a whole bunch. Like I've started the challenge and then I get bored and turn my house into a murder house, really. So every Sims challenge that Charm has ever put out, ever, I have turned into a murder house. And if you don't know what a murder house is, I think you need to play more Sims, is what I'm thinking. And yeah, I did put it back on the thing so I could keep the, you know, actual look, shape, form thing. But that's going to be great. But again, I don't like that it's not super shiny. So we're going to shine this thing up, like for sure. But before I do, I have to show you the status of this guy. It's pulling away from the edges. It's been sitting for about 4 days and is pulling away nicely. Has been frozen a couple 12 times and ran under hot water, the bottom of it, a couple 12 times. And it's still, while it's pulling away, it's still not coming out. So I'm going to need to do some more work on this guy to get it out. But this is a good attempt here. Maybe just scrape the sides with a really thin thing. See if I can only go so far down with that though. Yeah. Ultimately, I ended up having to bite the bullet and just take a knife, like a thin knife, to it all the way down and just run the edges until it finally released. But it was a lot, and that's not going to work. You should stop. Stop, please. Okay, so now this is actually spritzed with rubbing alcohol right now to show you the shiny that I want. But what I did to the back was I took some melt and pour and I put a little bit of Sparkle Me Red or whatever from Mad Micah's, so it would have a, you know, pinkish red hue to it. It's so nice when it's yeah, see? It's pretty. Super pretty. And just poured it over the bottom of the plate, swirled it around, and it worked. It kept it shiny and, you know, it's great. So now I'm going to do that to the top of the plate because I want it to stay shiny like you see when you spritz it with rubbing alcohol. Because it doesn't otherwise. Soap makers know this. I'm doing weird stuff. Not with cheese this time. But we have done cold process. We have done soap dough. We have done melt and pour. We have done soap dough from cold process because something didn't work. And now we're coating plates with clear melt and pour. It's a journey. It's such a journey, you guys. It's all the things. And you know what? It has to be a journey and, you know, kind of wild and out there for Charm, because while she is not wild or out there, her community super is. Yeah, see, that was the end result of all of that. I took a knife and just ran the edges all the way down until it finally released. But the extra soap dough that's in there, the soap that's in there, I'm not mad at that because I can actually scrape all of this out and create the footer of the teacup as well as the handle. There's enough left in there. So it all totally worked out. And the ridges that came from running the knife around, I also didn't hate. Does it look like the teacup? No, the teacup is smooth. You don't see any ridges. But are there teacups that have ridges and stuff? Yes. So I'm rolling with that. And yeah, look, that'll be the pedestal. See? It's all coming together. But because this actually worked so well for the plate itself with using the soap dough or the glycerin soap and just coating it, I decided that I was also going to do that for around the teacup. Because initially I was just gonna, paint some stuff on with micas or whatever, assuming this had come out when I wanted it to come out of the mold / teacup, which I'm calling a mold. It's teacup. You shouldn't do that. You should coat the inside with something. Anyway, point is, I decided that I was going to, instead of painting, I was going to roll that teacup in some clear melt and pour as well, with a little pattern, with the pink and the green and, the white, and get it to be shiny too, and, colored in different places. And so that's what we're doing here. It's kind of like one of those weird pours with paint, like those paint pours. That was Scout coming in to let me know that our indoor cat is now an outdoor cat. Loki has decided she wants to go hang out outside. So that's what she's doing. She's just right outside the door. She doesn't want to go in, but she's just sitting right there. She's a very weird cat, I swear. It's very strange. But yeah, I just kind of took this twice through with the still liquid melt and pour and just rolled it through, and it stuck to the soap, and it put some interesting texture and colors on the edges, so it's not just straight yellow. So I love that. And I still love Hammy there with the plumb bob. That's freaking adorable. And then for, the rest of the stuff that became soap dough that was left in the teacup, I'm just going to fashion a handle. And also paint it with, melt and pour. Because it should all look reasonably cohesive, right? Look at that. Pretty handle. I don't put it on as beautifully as what that looks like, though. Because I'm bad at things. But, I kind of figured it out. Yeah. This was such a weird, fun pour, and that everything is made completely out of soap and is way over the top. Honestly, I blame on the Nailed It stuff that I've been doing. Because normally I don't do stuff like this, But Dino, who is also one of Charm's mods, that's how I know Charm in the first place, Dino got the most giantest big thing of soap that she can never use ever. It has skulls and dinosaur eggs and stuff inside of it. It's wild. And so I figured, why not continue that trend and send Charm something that she also cannot use, ever. It's just going to sit. It's one more thing to dust. I don't know. Lots of people put soap out for display. It's a thing. I have a lot of soap out for display. Just the Lover House, actually. That's all I have out for display. Speaking of that, I actually did redeem a thing in Charm's stream. She's going to make the Lover House in The Sims, which I'm super looking forward to. So you guys should come, because you know all about that Lover House. You had to sit through 10 Taylor Swift videos. I mean, you didn't have to. Most of you didn't. That playlist has no views. But I had fun doing it regardless. And now I get to see her make the Lover House in The Sims, which is cool. I continue on with my Taylor Swift life, really. But yeah, just remelted the melt and pour and used it as a painting tool. Gives me some very triggering flashbacks to when we were doing the clay portion with soap and clay, and I was always having to paint mugs specifically with glaze to get them ready to fire. Hated that. I hated that. That was the worst part of having the clay aspect. I liked to paint the clay. I didn't like that I was the one that had to actually get it ready and fire it and be responsible for all that. That was less fun for me, really. But yeah, look, see? Base. Just gonna stick it on there. Absolutely. paint it a little bit more so it's a little bit darker. But I realized through all of this that we are missing one very important piece to all of this entire design. And I realized that because, today as I was finishing this up, which is earlier than you're seeing it, you get it. I want to send it out to Charm. Anyway, Charm was wearing a crown, and crowns are a big part of her stream and her theme and all of the things, and she pretty often wears a crown. So I decided to give Hammy one of those guys. Hammy's going to get a crown because it's very fitting. And I think it probably really is the final little missing piece that really brings it all together in this whole weird, crazy, I love Charmelian and her SIMS streams and her community and her as a person, just all the things. So there it is, all completely made out of soap. And it's a lot. It's a lot. But I love the hamster holding the plumb bob. It's the cutest thing ever. I think I should probably take some mica to that tea, though. Make it a little darker. It looks a little greeny. Who drinks green tea? I'll definitely take some more mica to that before I send it to Charm, for sure. But for now, that's day 335. You should go check out Charmelian. She's amazing. And that soap is, something else. Huh. Yeah, so pouring onto the, saucer and into the cup, it wasn't my best idea, really, but it worked ultimately. I was able to pivot and do some other things with it, and that was cool. I just couldn't not use these beautiful little teacups that we got for Scout's birthday party because Charm and her community actually helped me a whole lot with themes and ideas to even make this birthday party a success. So I had to do it. And it's smelling like tea, perfect. Having a little SIMS plumb bob, also perfect. And the little hamster in it, come on. It's a fun time, for sure. And I don't know if I will have actually managed to get this off to Charm by the time this goes live. I really have no idea. Maybe. But yeah, just like with every other, fan soap or homage soap or whatever soap that I do, I will be sending this to Charm. And so they have it for themselves. One of a kind, very, very unique soap for them as a thank you for existing. And so that's fun. And I had fun with this for sure. I hope you guys had a good time. If you're interested, seriously, you should go check out Charm. She is it's Charmelian, and she is on TikTok and Twitch. And she is going to be making very, very soon, because I redeemed it. It's a channel points redemption. It took me forever to save up those points. She's going to be making the Lover House from Taylor Swift in The Sims. Because that's my whole personality. Taylor Swift. But yeah, so go check her out. Go follow her. I'll drop the links below. Seriously, come hang out with me. I'm there every morning when she starts. She's nice on the eardrums. So there's that. For my sudsers, hey, thank you for being awesome and amazing and epic, and also being part of a Zoom call while I was making that and helping me out and telling me, don't pour into this. I poured into it anyway. For the rest of you, like, subscribe, do the things. That's awesome. I appreciate that very, very much. But I'm out of here for today. I am going to go do something else. Maybe drink a cup of tea, because that sounds good now. But I will see you guys all again tomorrow for another round of soapy fun. Bye.